is just going to be a really quick chatty bit before I actually show you the main part of the video. In fact it's going to be really quick, my battery's about to die. Last few weeks I've been putting off doing a vlog and drum kit tour video for the reason that I'd have to clean around my drum kit, and that's an absolute nightmare. So I've actually done it, and what I have done is I've broken down my entire kit into individual drums and then shown you exactly how each one sounds when it's excluded from music, and I've done that with the cymbals as well. I've also included dampening and higher pitch tuning and things like that, so you really get a sense for how it sounds when on its own, how I hear it before I edit it basically. In other news, I've also put together a Facebook page for my drumming channel as well. I'll put the link just down there so you can check it out, maybe stop by and give it a like or something. With that I can give you daily or sub-daily updates on what I'm going to be doing. Oh, and actually in the week that I've put it together I've actually had a tremendous amount of feedback. I've reached 1,268 people, which is absolutely insane. That really does mean quite a lot to me, because I only started doing this a year or two ago, and in that it really has taken off, and I'm really pleased with the progress it's made, so thank you for that. However, just like my personal Facebook, it has stopped me from uploading videos directly to Facebook due to copyright claims. Quite a lot of people get that, and it is a pain in the backside, but you're just gonna have to deal with it like I am. So because of this, I've started uploading videos to Vimeo, which is an online website, as you're well aware, where you can upload videos and you don't have any problems with the copyright claims, so I'll link that there. Right, quickly, this week I've done 2 drum covers which are actually quite a bit outside of my usual field and what I actually do, like hardcore covers. One of which is the Bronx and White Guilt, which is an absolute tune and I really do like it, so that's why I've covered that. Oh, if you haven't noticed, I tend to play a lot of songs that I would normally listen to. I don't practice them per se, I'll listen to it 3 or 4 times before I record it as the final version, but that's about it really. So, and the other drum cover is Bark with James Harvest and Child of the Universe. Bark with James Harvest are a Saddleworth band, which is where I'm from, and they're one of my dad's favourite bands, so he asked me if I'd be willing to cover that, and I said, well yeah, of course, sure, I'll give it a go, and I did, and I'm really pleased with the outcome. So that'll be coming to you probably later in the weekend or maybe early next week. Also, this weekend, hopefully, I've planned a 3-way jam session. Like you've seen the videos before where I've done jam sessions, but this one is going to be a bit different. It will still have Scott the guitarist, who you will have seen on numerous occasions, but this time I'm going to have included a 3rd member to it, and it's going to be Max Lees of Where's Strutter. Pop the link there. And he plays bass, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes, and hopefully I can get you the video for that towards the end of next week, so look out for that. And so yeah, I'm just going to stop rambling now because no one wants to see that for any period of time, and here's the video. Okay, so the first drum we have, I'm going to be doing it in drum order, is my Joey Jordison snare. This is a Power Stroke 3 coated head, and it's without a doubt the best snare head that I've come across. It just carries a lot more punch and attack than, say, a Weather King or... Now we've got exactly the same tuning, just with the snare off. can see, I don't use any dampening or E-rings or moon gel, but this is how it would sound if I were to. Snare first. Now without snare. This is my second snare. It's a pearl stainless steel 16-inch snare. I've just put another Power Stroke 3 head on it, and this is without snare. Snare. I've not tightened this quite as much as my Joey snare, but this is probably medium to heavy tuning. As this is only a side snare drum, I don't use it that often, therefore dampening isn't necessary, neither is moon gel, so I just leave it like this because I quite like how it sounds as I've tuned it. Moving now on to rack toms. This is my first tom, and it's an 8-inch Pearl Vision VBX tom. This drum is probably my least favourite rack tom just because it's so small, it's quite hard to hit and it's quite resonant. That is also why I've put one piece of moon gel on it, just to dampen it and lose some of that resonation. This is how it sounds. If I remove the moon gel, you'll notice quite how resonant it is. Next up we probably have my favourite drum, which is my 10-inch tom. Here I have one piece of moon gel, and actually I've put an E-ring on there just so it sounds a lot dampened and a lot more punchier, because without, I've got it tuned quite hard and quite tight, therefore it resonates quite a lot. This is how it sounds with dampening. Now we'll do this removing the moon gel and the E-ring so you can hear quite as resonant as it is. This was actually the first drum that I ever bought out of my Pearl collection. Next we move on to my 12-inch tom. This is very similar to my 10-inch tom in how it sounds. It's just quite a bit deeper and darker. Similar to this, I also have one strip of moon gel and an E-ring as well, just to remove that resonation that I've had with the last two toms. This is how it sounds. I'm going to remove the moon gel and E-ring so you can see how resonant it is without. Definitely tell why a dampening ring and a moon gel is necessary with that drum. It's very resonant and it's actually one of the harder drums to tune. Here's my 14-inch tom, exactly the same as the others, one piece of moon gel, one E-ring. That's because this is one of the hardest drums in the kit to tune, therefore you need to have quite a bit of dampening, otherwise it's going to be very resonant due to the wider head. This really is one of my most favourite drums for playing metal on, because it really does have a really good punch to it and it cuts through quite a lot of the other sounds, say cymbals, floor drum, bass drum, etc. This is without any dampening, so you'll really hear the resonation on this one. Found in hardcore heavy punk music is that you really do not want to have resonating sounds when you're playing. What you want to do is have a very short punchy attack, therefore you can just move on to the next drum without having the ring from the last drum. This is the first of my floor drums. It is a Pearl VBX 16-inch floor tom. As you can see, I have 1, 2, 3 pieces of moon gel on it and an E-ring. That is due to needing a really thick punch from this for it to cut through all the other sounds. This is how it sounds with all the dampening. I use this drum quite a lot at the end of fills, just rolling across the toms and then moving on to the floor tom. Therefore you need quite a short, punchy finishing off attack from it. I'm now going to remove the dampening, all the moon gel, so you can hear quite how resonant it is. I find this drum without any dampening is very similar to a kettle drum or more of an orchestral kind of drum, just due to the resonation that those musicians would probably need in their style of music. Also should be noted that this is actually a Ramo pinstripe Weather King. It's the only head on my toms that's different. That's only because I put it through several years ago. This is my final floor tom. This is the 18-inch Pearl Vision VBX floor tom, exactly the same as a 16. It has a 16-inch E-ring, it has 3 pieces of moon gel, and this is how it sounds. One thing I do quite often is use both these drums at the same time to get double the punch effect, maybe during a breakdown or just in the background or something else. This is how it sounds. This is my Pearl VBX bass drum. It's a 20-inch bass drum. I play a double bass, as you can see here. On the bass drum I use 2 Fallon pads, Ramo Fallon pads. They do actually make a massive difference to the sound. It makes it a lot more concentrated and quite a bit more of a punch than a boom, which is perfect for what I play. You want more of a slappy sound. This is how it sounds. As you can see, I use a heel up method. I can't really use the slap, slide or anything else method. I've never really tried, so this one works for me. What I'm going to do for you now is leave you down there whilst I play a simple 4-beat on the hi-hats and the snare with the double bass, and just increase it so you get a sound for it when it's included with other sounds. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I can just tell now this is going to be a really long video, so anyway, first of my cymbals, which we're going to be going through now, is the Peisty Rude Top Wild Hats. They are indeed absolutely brilliant. They're without a doubt the favourite hi-hat I've ever heard or come across. They're perfect for what I play, which is mostly metal or hardcore music, mainly punk, that kind of style. These are perfect because they're raw and they cut through any real sound. That was obviously with the hi-hats open ever so slightly. This is going to be with them open quite a bit more, so you're going to get more of a raw, thrashy sound. I'm now going to play a pattern on them with them completely shut. Now what we're going to do is bring the foot pedal in. I'm going to move the camera down so you can actually see the foot pedal, what I'm actually doing, whilst I'm playing them. This is how it sounds. As you can see, I actually have it quite tight, but now if I untighten it and have it moving quite a bit more, it will not be quite as choked. Now if we were wanting to choke it, this is how it would sound. Moving on to crash cymbals, this is the first of my crashes. It's a 14-inch Paiste 2002 crash cymbal. This is how it sounds. And if you were wanting to choke this cymbal, this is how it would sound. This cymbal's actually quite different to what I'd normally play and what I've already shown you. This is quite a metallic sounding cymbal, and because it's only 14, it's very similar to a splash. So it very much cuts through all the other heavier, bigger cymbals that you'll be listening to. Continuing in the Paiste 2002 series, this is a 16-inch power crash. This is perfect cymbal for what I play because it's very fast and it really cuts through. It goes perfect with my other cymbals and it works very well in pretty much anything. This is how it sounds. The only downside with this cymbal is, as you can see, this is the bell area. It's not got a particularly brilliant bell on it, so although my other cymbals do have a better bell, so this one is merely just for crashing. This is how it would sound to be choked. This is actually the last in my Paiste 2002 crash cymbals, however I do have two more Paiste 2002 series cymbals. This is a 17-inch 2002 crash, and this is a very versatile cymbal. It's probably the most versatile I have because you can play this in pretty much any genre, but it fits perfectly into what I play. Exactly the same as the 16-inch Power Crash, the bell size is the same and not that big. Therefore putting it in the middle of something is quite difficult, but you can still get it. Moving on to my final crash cymbal, this is the Peisty Rude Wild Crash 17-inch. This is without a doubt the loudest crash cymbal I've ever actually come across, and it's probably due to its wild nature. This is a brilliant cymbal as it cuts through absolutely anything at any point. This is how it sounds. As you can see on this cymbal, the bell size is a little more raised and quite a bit bigger, so it's quite a lot easier to hit. As it's getting more and more similar to a ride cymbal, the bell bit gets bigger. This is how it sounds. If you were wanting to choke this cymbal, this is how it would sound. This is my only ride cymbal on the kit, and as you can tell from the big logo, it is a Slipknot Peisty Black Alpha metal ride. It's 20 inches. And the reason why I got this cymbal, as you can probably tell from the rest of my kit, is my rather embarrassing idolisation of Joey Jordison. This is how it sounds. As you can see on this cymbal, the bell isn't the biggest it could be, so you've got your Peisty giant beat cymbals, those bells are absolutely massive, but the bell size is quite considerable and it makes a very nice sound with the middle of the stick. If you are wanting to hit this cymbal as a crash, that is also still possible. It's just quite difficult with the way I've set my kit out. Now as we move on to China cymbals, this is the Peisty 2002 Wild China 15-inch. This is how it sounds. I love this cymbal due to its completely dry play, it really doesn't have much resonance, it doesn't go for a long time, it just stops as soon as it's made its noise. It's absolutely perfect. This is my next China cymbal. This is a Cunnerzzz 18-inch China, and it's one of my, well, it's another China that I really like playing. It's a lot bigger than my other two, therefore it carries a lot more depth. This is how it sounds. With this cymbal, it's probably the tinny nature of it that I really like. It's got a very metallic tin-like sound, and that carries through over the top of a lot of other cymbal sounds, so it works perfect with all the other cymbals you've seen so far. Moving on to my final cymbal that's on my current kit. This is the Cunnerzzz 16-inch China Type 2002 series. This is probably the most common cymbal you'll actually find on a drum kit or a drummer's kit who plays the same kind of music as me. It's a very commonly used cymbal. This is how it sounds. Now I'm going to be showing you the cymbals that I don't use in my current kit setup and explain why I don't use them and show you how they sound. These are, as you can see, the Cunnerzzz Black Alpha Slipknot Edition Sound Edge hi-hats, 14-inch. And I did use these on my kit quite a lot until I got the Rude hi-hats. This is how they sound. You can immediately tell from that they don't have as much body as the Cunnerzzz cymbals, and they're quite a bit lighter. Now if I just adjust this and give it some more space in between the top and the bottom, you'll definitely find how light these are. I find these cymbals are a lot better for lighter music. I find the Cunnerzzz hi-hat cymbals, these, oh, there we go, these are a lot better for heavier music because they cut through a lot more, therefore they're a lot easier to hear. These kind of got lost in the other sounds from the cymbals. I'll see if I can demonstrate that for you. I'm going to play the Cunnerzzz 17 Wild Crash and then see if you can hear these through it. Recording this now, I'm not sure how clear that actually is. But if you could hear those through it, it's probably because the camera is quite a bit closer to them. but when you put in normal, it's very hard to pick these out over other cymbals. So that's why they're not currently on my kit. I do like the cymbals, so I'll be holding on to them, and I'll just flick them when I need them, really. Exactly the same with the metal splash, although this one I find a bit too heavy, which is why I replace it with the smaller 8-inch splash. If you can see there, this is the metal splash. Let me zoom in for you. There we go, too far. There we go, this is a 10-inch Slipknot Black Alpha metal splash, and the reason why I don't have this on my current kit is because it's quite a bit too heavy and it sounds a bit metallic for a splash cymbal. It doesn't have the very light sound that you want. It has quite a dark sound. This is how it sounds. And if you're wanting to choke this cymbal, this is how it would sound. People that regularly watch my videos will know that this cymbal comes off and goes on quite often. It's quite a difficult cymbal to use in certain things and then not use in certain things. If I'm playing Slipknot, say in my Vermilion covers or my Prelude cover, you'll notice that I played this cymbal. This is a Rude 16-inch crash ride cymbal, and it's a very, very heavy cymbal. It really does carry the ride as much as the crash in this sound. This is how it sounds. On this cymbal you can see that the bell is quite a bit smaller than the 17-inch Wild Crash. However, it's still very effective due to its ride as well. And if you're wanting to choke this cymbal, this is how it sounds. It's probably the only cymbal I've ever come across that has a little vibration or a ring to it once you've actually choked it. It's a very powerful cymbal and it does work very well in metal more than anything that I've found. Finally, we move on to my last cymbal. This is a Paiste Black Alpha Slipknot Edition 18-inch Rock China. And the reason why this isn't on my kit is because I find it very, very heavy and hard to include into stuff. I'm not knocking it as a cymbal because it is a very nice cymbal, but I just find it quite difficult to include in my kind of music. If you listen to songs by In Flames, the metal band, you'll hear a cymbal very similar to this being used. It works in that, but not in Partway Drive or Slipknot or anything similar to that. This is how it sounds. I find this cymbal's a lot better if you include it with other cymbals. Say I'm going to include it now with, let's zoom out, with the Peisty 2002 15 Wild China and the 16 China type, and you'll notice it blends in quite a bit more than on its own. What I'm going to do now is give you a tour of the sticks that I use. I use quite a vast variety of sticks, and some with grip tape, some without. Starting at the end, these are your average Vic Firth 5B drumsticks with a wood tip. I find these a bit too thick for playing some styles of music. If you're wanting to play something fast, you always want a bit of a thinner, lighter stick, and they're quite a bit heavy. Therefore, if I want something light, I'll probably use a 5AN Vic Firth stick. This is with a nylon tip. I don't know if you can see that. With a nylon tip, I prefer to use those. That's actually what I was using when I was just going through all the cymbals. My favourite stick is actually the ProMark Millennium 2 Joey Jordison 515 version stick. I have lots of these sticks and I use them more with grip tape. As you can see, the majority of my sticks, including the metal ones, are very chewed up. And if any of you are very generous, you can donate some sticks to me because I'm in dire need. Look at that, absolutely shocking. This is the stool that I use, or the throne. It's a Pearl Roadster throne, and it has got a backrest to it, which is exceedingly helpful because I suffer quite a bit from back pain from time to time. So if I'm drumming, that is very essential, having the back. It also keeps your posture when you're playing. It's a 4-prong seat stool, and it's probably the best on the market that I've found anyway. It's very versatile and it's very comfortable to sit on for any length of time.